What's up my friends, welcome back to another episode of Hyperfixation Chats, the series where I talk about my current hyperfixation. Today we're talking about a series that I already talked about a couple times on this channel, and it was actually the first video that I released on this channel. That's right my friends, today we're going to continue to talk about Heartstopper. Last time we talked about Heartstopper, we left off on episode 4 of season 2, so we're going to go ahead and pick up right where we left off. Episode 5, titled Heat, picks off right where we left off, with Charlie's hickey given to him by his secret boyfriend, Nick Nelson. The group of friends go to breakfast, and for some reason, he doesn't try to cover the hickey, at all. He doesn't ask for makeup, he doesn't find something to wear that covers it, no. It's just on full display. And obviously, everyone notices. Since Nick isn't out yet, everyone assumes that the person that gave Charlie this hickey is the only other openly gay kid in the school, James, who also happens to be on the trip. I don't remember if we've talked about James, but he's a semi-important character. We see him here and there, but we like James, he's cool. Although I do find it funny that when everyone's talking about who gave Charlie the hickey, even though it's none of their business, but you know high schoolers, they always love to just spill the tea about anything. Anyways, I find it funny that James tells Charlie that it wasn't him, obviously. Hey Charlie, I think it's kind of crazy that people just assume that I gave you that hickey just because we're both gay. I know, right? Just because we're both gay doesn't mean that you were the one that had to give me the hickey. I know, huh? But, well, it wasn't me though, just to be perfectly clear. Right. Because of, you weren't there. Yeah, because, it wasn't me. 100% wasn't me. I know, dude, you weren't there. Right. But I just want to be 100% sure that you know it wasn't me. Girl, obviously Charlie knows it wasn't you. I just found it funny that he kept bringing it up and kept making sure that, Charlie knew it wasn't him. Okay. Anyways, going back to the trip, before they get a chance to explore the Eiffel Tower, they do have to complete a partnered worksheet. Charlie gets partnered with James, and Nick gets partnered with Ben. I'm telling you, those teachers were messy. Girl, they hated these kids. There's no way. I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. So, Nick and Ben have a conversation where he essentially victimizes himself, saying that Nick is ruining his life because it's his fault that both Charlie and Imogen were no longer talking to him. Two things with that. Number one, Imogen never really liked you, and you were being an to her anyway, so obviously she stood up for herself and left, and you were just mentally abusing Charlie. So what did you expect, them to stay around forever? They would have left you eventually regardless if Nick stepped in or not. And number two, reminder to you guys as well, if you're going through something, that's okay. But it doesn't give you permission to be an asshole to others. You're allowed to go through your own things, but there will be consequences for your actions if you decide to do something horrible to other people. Again, it doesn't matter what you're going through, it's never a justification to hurt other people, especially other people that have done nothing wrong to you. Anyway, back to the show. So after they're done with the worksheet, everyone goes ahead and climbs up the Eiffel Tower, and once they're up there, one of Nick and Charlie's classmates jokingly asks if Nick gave Charlie the hickey, and Nick responds with, "So what if it was? You jealous?" Clocked his tea real quick. And also Harry earns a bit of brownie points for telling the guys to just leave him alone, which is good for him. He's taking a step in the right direction. Doesn't make up for everything he's done, but at least he's trying. Right before we leave the scene, however, Nick does get a call from his dad. Remember this, it's important for later. After this, Tao and Charlie have a heart-to-heart, and he pushes Tao in the right direction, saying that if he truly does like Elle, he deserves to actually give it a try. Also, right before the scene ends, Charlie gets one of those heart locks and writes both his name and Tao's name on it, and then locks it onto the fence, probably signifying the importance their friendship has to him. Which I don't know if you remember from season 1, that Tao felt really insecure and felt like his friendship with Charlie was dwindling due to Nick existing. So I think it's a really nice way to prove that Charlie still really cares about his friend Tao, even though he does have a boyfriend. Some of y'all should take notes. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you drop your friend. Not calling out anyone in particular, just if the boot fits. After that, our favorite group of friends makes their way to the Louvre. Everyone's favorite. A couple of things happen at the Louvre. Number one, Nick reminds Elle that life is complex, and you don't always have to understand your feelings and emotions just to experience them. What's important here is that you allow yourself to feel. Number two, this is the last push that Elle needed, I think, to actually fully embrace her feelings for Tao, and she finally goes with it. So we finally see them admit their feelings for each other, and they finally share their first kiss. Congrats guys, love, we love to see it. Number 3, Tara confronts Darcy, saying that she feels like they're hiding stuff from her. She's never been to their house, never met their parents, and when Tara told Darcy that she loves them, Tara just didn't respond. Darcy, not trying to start anything, kind of just like brushes it off, saying that she thought that the I love you was more so like a go with the flow, spur of the moment type thing and not something so serious. So yeah, it doesn't actually get solved in this episode. It's just, the problem is just brought to light. And lastly, number 4, Charlie does end up fainting in the loo because he hasn't eaten anything all day. And they call the teachers to help them out. They give Charlie a moment to breathe and they give him water and food. And this is when Nick actually confronts them. I don't remember if I've talked about this in the last videos, and I'm not going to go check, so I'm just going to talk about it again just in case. Nick does take notice to the fact that Charlie sometimes just doesn't eat. And obviously this does worry him, so he finally does ask what's wrong and if there's anything he can do to help. The way that Charlie explains it is essentially saying that he feels like there's so many things in his life that are out of his control, that he feels like eating is one of the few things that he could actually have control over. So yeah, our boy has an eating disorder. And this is the first time they actually bring it to light and actually make us realize that there's a problem going on. But I do think it's very important that they start setting this up here and now, just so we can't say that it came out of nowhere. Right before the episode ends, Nick and Charlie have a cute little moment together, but right before they return to the group, Nick gets a call from his father, saying that he has a bit of free time and that he would love to meet up with him. So Nick takes this as a perfect chance to not only catch up with his father, but to introduce Charlie as his boyfriend. What happens? Stay tuned. Like, literally stay tuned for the next section, like literally in a minute. So overall, I did like this episode. A lot of cute Nick and Charlie scenes. We get further development for Charlie's character. We finally address the problems that Elle and Darcy are facing, which I think is really important. And we finally see Elle and Tao finally have the moment that they deserve. So yeah, I give this episode a 4 out of 5. Pretty good, but I feel like it's missing a little something. Anyways, let's move on to the next episode. Episode 6, titled Truth or Dare, starts off with Nick and Charlie running to the cafe where Nick agreed to meet up with his father. And Nick introduces Charlie as his something. He doesn't actually introduce him as anything. Charlie takes the initiative and he's like, "Hi, I'm Charlie." So yeah, Nick doesn't tell him that they're dating, and not like he had the chance to anyway, because literally a minute into the meetup, Nick's dad has to leave. But from this 1-minute interaction, we can't see that Nick's father doesn't really know anything about him, other than the fact that he likes rugby. Like, you could tell that the effort he's putting in is very minimal. He doesn't really care about what he does. I'm sure in his way he does care a little bit, but like, the bar's in hell, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't even know that Nick isn't straight. Like, are you kidding me? Like, go back to season 1. Literally the first scene where both Nick and Charlie stare at each other. Like, the scene where they first meet. There is no heterosexual explanation for that. There is not. Like, I swear. These people being like, "Oh, I didn't know that you were gay, Nick." Girl. Anyways, no, but back to the point. Nick's dad doesn't really know him or doesn't know the real him, and that obviously makes Nick very sad. However, before he leaves though, he does tell Nick that he will be visiting him. So, at least there's that. So anyways, back at the hotel, both Elle and Tao tell their friends that they finally had a moment and they finally kissed. However, they didn't make anything official yet. So what they do is they all go explore the hotel, giving Elle and Tao a chance to talk. Except they don't really talk, they just make out. So they actually don't confirm anything in this scene here. And also, a little side note, Nick and Charlie are always getting caught. Like, girl, the universe hates them, I guess, because like literally there is not a single episode where they don't get caught at least once, I don't think. Like, girl, give them their alone time, please. Please, just let them be, please. Fast forward to the next day, it's actually Tara's birthday, so yay, happy birthday to my favorite character. That isn't named Nick Nelson. After exploring Paris one final time, they all go back to the hotel and Darcy actually has a little surprise party planned for Tara. A couple of things do happen at this party. Number 1, Charlie walks in on Tao and Elle making out, which I think is so funny because people are always walking in on Charlie, so I think it's fair that he finally, gets a chance to walk in on someone else. I think it's just payback at this point. Number 2, James and Isaac do have a moment together where James admits that he does have a crush on him. They both share a kiss, but Isaac realizes that he does not reciprocate those feelings. This is also a very important setup for later on. Number 3, Tara doesn't let Harry into the party, considering what he did to Charlie. Harry gives Charlie a half-assed apology, and Charlie does not take it. He shuts the door right on his face. As you should, Queen, as you should. I think it's very important that he does suffer consequences for his actions. Like, just because he says "I'm sorry" does not mean that everything he did to Charlie just goes away. Keep in mind, we only see a bit of bullying happen in the first season. There was bullying going on before Charlie met Nick. So, repercussions for your actions, I don't know. But if that's the case, what the is Ben doing here? Like, why did they let Ben in? Like, he's not even fun. He literally throws a big when they're playing Spin the Bottle. So like, why is he there? Speaking of Spin the Bottle, number 4, they play Spin the Bottle. Also, I find it interesting that the person that spun the bottle and it lands on Charlie, that person is a nosy and messy. Oh look, it landed on Charlie. What do you say, Charlie? Truth or dare? I'll go with dare. I dare you to kiss James. What? No, just because you think he gave me the hickey? Well, alright then. I dare you to kiss Ben. You're joking. What? You picked dare. Fine then, I picked truth instead. Okay. Tell us the truth, who gave you that hickey? What the f? Like, homegirl was there for the tea. They were like, you need to tell us who the f gave you that hickey, because if not, I will cry. Like, it's none of your business. I do know the point of truth or dare is, you know, stir the pot, spill some tea. But there are boundaries, and you have to be respectful when people don't want to tell you, considering the fact that if Charlie did tell you, he will be outing someone. Anyways, to settle this once and for all, Nick decides to come out, saying that he was the one that gave Charlie the hickey, and that they're dating. And the way that he came out is rather interesting. Like, he technically did do it on his own free will, but it wasn't because he felt like he was ready and because he wanted everyone to know. It was mostly because he wanted people to stop talking about Charlie and just to leave him alone. Which is a very interesting approach to take, considering the fact that the actor that plays Nick, Kit Connor, essentially did come out in very similar circumstances. Somewhere where he technically did come out on his own free will, but he didn't do it because he wanted to. It was more so like he did it just for people to just stop harassing him. I don't remember the timeline, so I don't remember if this was happening around the same time that scene was happening, but if it was, that kind of sucks. Anyways, back to the show. But anyway, the moment gets ruined because Darcy has to hurl. Homegirl had a bit too much vodka. Anyway, the episode ends with both Nick and Charlie spending the night together alone, and they both sleep with each other. I mean, not like that, not like that. I mean that they sleep in the same bed together. They don't get to do that shit until the next season, so stay tuned. Anyways, in the girls' room, Darcy does tell Tara that they do love her. They don't talk about why it took them so long to say it. They don't talk about why the fact that they hide stuff from Tara. But I do think it's a step in the right direction, and obviously this is set up for something later on. Also, both teachers do have a moment together. I know I don't really talk about them because the show's focusing on Nick and Charlie, but I do also like their development as well. We see Mr. Ajay, Charlie's art teacher that has been helping Charlie throughout the past couple years of when he's gotten bullied, when he's needed help and all that stuff, has been helping the other teacher, Mr. Farouk, in a very similar way. He's encouraged Mr. Farouk to allow himself to feel the feelings that he feels, and he reminds him, no matter where you are in life, it's never too late to experience love and to experience joy. Last but not least, the morning arrives and they all jump on a bus and they head on home. As they're heading home, Charlie opens Instagram and he sees that Nick posted a picture of them together with the little red heart in the caption. And that ends episode 6. Overall, I also really like this episode. I like the fact that all the couples are growing together. I like the fact that Nick finally comes out, albeit I don't like the way he did it. I do think that it was rather forced, instead of, allowing him to do it on his own volition. I like how Isaac's story is being developed, and I look forward to it in the future. And yeah, also it's my girl's birthday. We have to celebrate that. So overall, I do give the episode a 4 out of 5, just like the other one. And with that, that was episodes 5 and 6 from season 2 of Heartstopper. I took a break from this series because I kind of wanted to talk about other things, but I will be finishing it, hopefully, before the movie comes out later this summer. So yeah, if you like this video, you could go ahead and subscribe. I will be posting the rest of the reviews later on. And I also have reviewed the other episodes previously, so you can go ahead and check the playlist out for that. And if you want to see more of me, I have both Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, I post there semi-frequently, so if you want to see what I'm up to, go ahead. But yeah, that's it for today, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you being here. Please stay safe out there, be kind to one another, and hopefully, I'll see you NT. See you next time. Bye.